don't forget to like and subscribe.
Hello there. All right. Om Shanti Om. I don't know what I was in for. I don't know what I was expecting. So the movie starts off with basically talking about cinema in India. Yeah. And then it basically talks about 30 years ago. So I was immediately thinking that it would take us, okay, it's going to tell us about something that happened 30 years ago, then it's going to come to the present. I initially was given that thought, which is a good thing because that is what this movie eventually becomes about. So if that's the case, you need to seed it early so people aren't surprised. My issue was they introduced that. They go back 30 years. So I was thinking, okay, he's going to end up becoming 30 years in the future. It's going to be a romance story. He falls in love with this famous actress. He's like a know-nothing name. When he becomes famous, he starts acting like this other actor because they spent so much time on him. That's what I started to think. He becomes this other actor who's focused more. He's a complete narcissist and doesn't focus on his wife. And then he's going to come around to realize that, she is what I want. So in this movie called Om Shanti Om, they are making a movie in the 30 years ago called Om Shanti Om, which happens to be a movie about reincarnation, rebirth, revenge, comedy, horror. It basically, apparently a terrible movie that has everything thrown at it. And it's about, literally 30 years ago, a producer killed his wife because no one knew that they were married and was using her to get rich and famous. And yeah, when she was going to go public with it, he killed her. The character named, her name was Shanti, and Omi, witnessed the whole thing and died as a result of her being killed. He tried to save her from the blowing up building, which didn't work out, and he died in the process. He becomes, he's reborn, kind of like Ego, which I just saw. He attaches his soul to the nearest birthing creature, which happened to be the child of the famous actor Kapoor, which they're... So, yeah, he becomes Om Kapoor. He literally takes the same name he had when he died. Yeah, and is reincarnated, and as he gets older, 30 years pass, he's back to the way he looked before, and he starts getting visions because he sees a fire. He goes back to the place where the whole studio burned down on the countryside. Studios are in the country? Really? That makes no... I guess I'm just used to the Hollywood aspect where a studio is smack dead in the middle of a busy city, a bustling city, and they only go outside to film something that's built in the second and then torn down immediately. But yeah, it was just like they go to the countryside to this burned down studio, which burned down 30 years ago, the day he was born. But it was an hour and 20 minutes into this 2 hour and 40-minute movie when they jumped 30 years to where the story said it was going to go to at the very beginning. So it was so hard to find a anchor point on this film because it jumps all over the place. I couldn't find it funny. I couldn't find it serious. I couldn't find it scary. I couldn't find it revenge filled. I couldn't, because they keep talking about, like, the character Om kept talking about how he was going to change the past. Like, history will not repeat itself. I'm going to change it. So it's like, those 30 years have already passed. This producer has already become rich and successful. What are you going to do? Ruin the last 2 years of his life? Or kill him immediately? He's lived a successful life. He's happy with how he's lived his life. There's no going back and doing what's already been done. So maybe that was just the subtitles reinterpreting it. Maybe there were different words that were used that just mean various things. But with how it was read, it was just like, that's a dumb thing to say. There's no fixing what has been done. There's just recompense or just punishment. There's no going back and fixing it. Yeah, but this movie was just so... I couldn't find myself being interested in any of the characters. The Om... I like that actor, Khan. I think that's his last name, right? I've seen him in so many movies and I still haven't got his name. Like, one of the funniest things in the film was what they stole from Tropic Thunder, or Tropic Thunder stole it from it, because it's based on the movie industry. So they take real actors, use their real names, and create fictional movies based off of them and make them look ridiculous. Like, what is it? Akshay Kumar was there. He pulled out a gun in the middle of the awards ceremony because he didn't win the award and was about to shoot him. It was just like, oh my gosh. And he was wearing his uniform from the shot. It was like they literally took him from that set, that ridiculous set, and then they put him straight. It's just like, oh my gosh, this works so perfectly. It reminded me of Tropic Thunder immediately. But that was it. That was the only scene there. Everything else was just like, oh my gosh, I can't stand this. If you're going to make a comedy, try to make a comedy about the movie industry. Make it a parody about the movie industry the way Tropic Thunder did. Don't try to make this time rebirth, revenge, horror, comedy mashup, which can't find any ground, any traction, because, well, nothing is given a chance to grow into anything. Oh my gosh. I don't know what else to say about this film. I couldn't. I watched the whole thing. I was gonna stop it, but I was like, you know what? I can't do that. I need to give this film the respect it sadly doesn't deserve. I watched it all the way through. Oh my gosh. Because it takes time, effort. And oh, I gotta mention one thing that absolutely just drives. I gotta say, the industry here is messed up too. It has a lot of issues, but the fact that the whole schedule revolves around the hero, and I didn't like how they would call the lead actor the hero. It just seems, it kind of demotes all the other roles, because honestly, one of the things that create a great movie is a great villain. So the fact that nobody cares about the villain, they all focus on the hero, they call him, they wait for hours until the hero show, I guess, again, it just seems, is that actually how it is? Or are they just making that overblown out? Because they didn't really anchor that out for me. And didn't. I'm not sure what it really is like. So, because they did it with the Shanti's character, where she just sat there waiting to be told by the producer to go out and act. Omi did it. So I was thinking maybe it's just the culture. But I don't know. It didn't really establish it, because when Omi decided to be an actual good, he would work harder as an actor. He started showing up on time. It's just like, but would they wait? That's a waste of, well, it's free pay, but it ruins the product in the long run because you can't do retakes or reshoots. And yeah, I'm just curious about that. I'm curious if that really is how it is. Do they wait for hours on end? Because I guess they can't recast at that point because they've already got some shots, but you would think that would disgrace the actor. Or the hero. You would think that disgrace him for other roles. I don't know. I just watch these movies. I'm not involved in making them. Thank you all for watching. Talk to you next time. Toodles.